What's up, everybody? Mic check. Can you hear me good? Can you hear me good? Can you hear me good? Thumbs up if the sound's coming good. Let me see. While we're doing that. All right, bet. Shout out to Alvin. Welcome back, everybody. This is Real Nathan Daly, and I am here to provide some insight. Listen, you guys, this shout out to everybody from last night. We had a great stream last night. So just putting that out there. What else? We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. I'm gonna really give you some insight. These type of cases are right up my alley, you guys. I get an opportunity to kind of really share, what these investigations look like. You guys saw the thumbnail. We're talking about Carla Russell, right? Or Carlee Russell, Black female, 25 years of age, out of Alabama. As you know, just a few days ago, she went missing. The entire nation has been behind this particular this case, and a lot has been said. There's been some theories. Things started looking a little suspicious, and then before you know it, let me see. And before you know it, you guys, just as of today, the police department, the chief investigator, ended up hosting a press conference. And in the press conference, they started sharing the updates on the case. Why? Well, miraculously, Carla or Carlee, I don't know why I keep calling her Carla. Carlee showed up at home, right? She was alleged kidnapped. And I'm gonna give you the story for those who don't know. Excuse me, for those who don't know the details in reference to kind of how this thing transpired. Give you a quick little background, and then we're gonna break down the actual press conference. Then I'm gonna talk to you about the evidence that they presented, why the evidence is important, how this all ties into this case, and then what things you need to take away from this. I'm going to also give you some tips and some tips on how to keep yourself safe out here for women and children, right? So this is something at the end of the stream. We want this to be a learning experience and then also a solution-based conversation. We are going to get on the foolishness, right? We're going to get on the hoax, you guys. At the end of the day, this is a hoax. This was some bullshit. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, and it's very disappointing because for the simple fact that these are real allegations in reference to people get kidnapped all the time in this country. Sex trafficking is a real thing, as we all know. And so this right here turned out to be a Jussie Smollett 2.0, right? So there's a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. If you haven't already, hit the like button on the way in. If you haven't followed me on social media under these platforms, please, by all means, go and check them out. Instagram, TikTok, and then, of course, YouTube. If you're new to the channel, shout out to the members of the channel. Shout out to my moderators. I really, really appreciate you guys and your support. And so we're going to get into this conversation because there's a lot to cover. And also make sure you go and check out the merch. The merch is at the bottom of the video. Click on it, go to the website, take a look around. A lot of people have been purchasing the shirts. A lot of people have saying a lot of positive things about it. I keep my facts over feelings mug right here with me when I need to have a little sippy sip. And then, of course, tonight I'm rocking the Cuckoo Kachu shirt. We all know. Let me get a little. Let me stand up, give you a little preview of the Cuckoo Kachu. Listen, you guys, I love these designs. You guys have been very, very vocal about it. So the more you guys present these new ideas, these sayings that we have on this channel, I'm definitely going to throw it on the merch so we can have and enjoy it. So, all right, where are we with this? All right, before we get into the video, let me give you a quick little backstory, right? 25-year-old girl, she, young lady, Black woman out of Alabama. She makes a 911 call, right? And this is on July 13th. She makes a 911 call, And she basically tells the dispatcher that as she's driving on the interstate, she sees a child, approximately 3 years of age, walking with a white shirt on and a diaper. Right? She describes the child as being a white child. So what does she do? She's telling them that she's pulling over. She's like, "Hey, this is where I'm at. I'm over on the highway. Blah blah blah." All right. So she says she's just keeping an eye on the child. Well, they are going to dispatch the police. Cool. Well, she gets off the phone. Well, a few minutes later, the police get a call and say that, hey, the lady who called in reference to the suspicious kid, she was talking to a family member, is what the mom stated, or what was stated initially. She talked to a family member, and then all of a sudden, I heard her scream, and I think she's kidnapped. Right. The police show up 5 minutes later. Right. They show up. Her vehicle is on the side of the road with the hazard lights on, right? Because the dispatcher, and this is the key thing that dispatchers do, they say, hey, turn your hazard lights on. Why? This is at 9:30 at night. All right, 9:30 at night. So her hazard lights are on. She's on the side of the road. I believe she's in a Mercedes. Police show up. What do they find at the scene? They don't find her. She's not present, right? Carlee is missing. They find her wig at the scene, right? And then what else? Her wig is there. Her Apple Watch is there. Some food and stuff that she purchased is there. Carlee's missing. So, of course, with that being said, you guys, we got the statement from a witness who knows her, who was on the phone with her, said that she screamed, heard some tussling, and then now police show up 5 minutes later, she's gone. All right. This looks like a legitimate kidnapping. Now, when this case came out, you guys, I didn't speak on it because I wanted more information to come out, right? You guys know how I am. I don't really like to just necessarily just jump on top of things. I'm actually glad I didn't talk about it. But the things that I was going to talk about that day when the incident happened, we're going to cover tonight, right? In reference to tips and things that you can use every day, what to be mindful of, how to protect yourself at the best of your ability to prevent things like this from happening. Now, this is a hoax, right? We are all well aware of that. According to the press conference today, which we're going to play, we're going to break it down. It gives the details of the investigation. I'm going to point out the things that immediately when I heard it, I said, okay, yeah, she faked this. All right. The motive of why she faked it, we do not know. Does this create a problem? I've been hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, this creates a problem for Black women," and blah blah blah. We're gonna talk about that. All right. In the moment when this thing was revealed, this is what happened. Right. Everyone is under the impression in this moment that she has been kidnapped. You guys, this is not uncommon for women to be kidnapped. Right. Women and children. What was unique about this was the child. Right. And let this be a message of truth to those who are listening, that there are sophisticated criminals who are wicked in all forms of imagination in this world. They will use any and all tactics to commit their crime against people, humanity. It doesn't matter. You guys, though the world may look peaceful and tranquil, though things look like it's a rose colored garden, I assure you that evil walks amongst the people, right? Plenty of evil and wicked people walk amongst us. You guys, don't ever for a second get that twisted or think otherwise. I am telling you for a fact, right? What looks pretty on the outside, I assure you, is completely corrosive on the inside. There are evil people amongst us. People will use children, other people's children, their children, as a way, as a tool. I always call it fishing, right? They use their child as bait in order to reel people in and then in order to take advantage of them. They'll use women. Women are always a tool that criminals use to rob, to commit murder, kidnapping. They use women all the time. They will hire young girls, they'll hire young boys. These are usually, either they're homeless, they're runaways. They will utilize them to carry out their nefarious actions. Listen, you guys, there's some sick people. I could tell you countless stories. So when this story came out about she saw a toddler or a kid walking on the interstate, to me, red flag, right? Not to say that I thought she was lying, but the first thing that came to my mind was, oh wow, this looks like a trafficking tactic, right? Because what do you do? Naturally, you're gonna stop your car. You're gonna pull. Oh my God, I see a kid. What happened? Where'd the kid come from? And next you know, you're being snatched up. That's a very strong possibility. Very strong. And I think this particular situation, what it does, I think it reminds everybody that you need to be on guard, right? We've heard cases where people have tried to kidnap kids out of a nursery in a hospital, right? So listen, these things happen. There was a case recently where a woman killed a woman who was pregnant with a child, took her child, and then acted like that child was hers. This just happened a couple months ago. So again, these things do happen. People do steal babies. They do sell babies. They sell babies for sexual exploitation. I'm talking toddlers, toddlers, right? So this within itself is not far-fetched at all. Like when I heard it, I wasn't shocked. I was like, wow, this looks like a definitely setup. Like someone's trying to set someone up. You guys, it's genius. Why is it genius? Because women are gonna fall for it. Women are going to fall for it. The average woman is not going to just drive by a child that's walking without any adult supervision and not say something. The average woman is going to say something, you know. And so that is the harsh reality. So now this is the story that was given out. The girl goes missing, right? Carlee goes missing one day, 2 days later, and then all of a sudden she pops up in her neighborhood walking down the street and she goes to her house. Well, her parents call the police show up and they're like, oh my God, we found her, right? So now the whole idea is, okay, we found her, we found her, we found her. Okay, now what? Of course, as officers and investigators, the first thing you do is, well, before we even go there, they put together a massive search party. The community volunteered, hundreds of people volunteered, and really they started deploying a lot of resources in order to find what happened to her. That was the big thing. We want her to be safe. We want to find her. We believe she was kidnapped, of course, right? A lot of manpower. The feds got involved. The FBI got involved. They started pulling cameras off of the highway, and as they started to investigate, things started to seem a little weird, right? Things started to not add up. Well, people started donating. I think they raised over $63,000, right, behind this effort to find her. They since refunded all that money, right? So what happens? All this effort, investigation, people are saying, okay, well, this is going to harm Black women because now, we've complained about minorities not getting enough media attention. Listen, the reality is the media can never cover as many missing people that go on in this country a year. There's no way they can cover it. Even if you dedicated one news media outlet to cover all the missing women and children and men that take place in this country, they could never do it. You guys, I don't think you realize how many people go missing in a state alone, this country, nationwide. You guys, it's bad. It's really, and again, they would have you believe that this is a safe place. It's not a safe place. This is a multi-billion-dollar business, kidnapping people, sex trafficking, harvesting organs. You guys, this is a business. And people, humans are the material. They are like cattle, high dollar. for some of them. You know, we have parents who don't watch their kids. You have kids who get sent off into the system. You know, these kids are funneled through uh, human trafficking, sex trafficking all the time, all the time. You know, again, this is a serious, absolutely serious allegation. This is equivalent to, again, Jussie Smollett, who faked an entire hate crime. Oh, they put bleach on me and they tied a noose around my neck, and they had some they were Trump supporters, make America great again. And guess what? The nation rallied behind his lie. And they believed him. They believed him. Now we have a woman who they're saying made all this up. So now they meet her, they take her to the hospital. This is protocol. She's getting checked out, right? Why? Because as investigators, we want to collect as much evidence, the story, her statement. Is there any? Did she said she fought off the attackers? Well, guess what? We need to check under your fingernails for DNA. We need to check your body for DNA, any hair follicles, any evidence that could help lead us. I want your shoes. I want your clothes. I want all of that because there could be DNA on there. There could be something on there that'll give me a clue for us to investigate. Right? So she tells them her story. And I'm going to play the press conference video so you can hear how the investigators break down the statement, the initial statement that she gave the police. After she gave a statement, you guys, she went ghost. She ghosted them. They're like, okay, ma'am, listen, we know this was traumatizing. This could be difficult. But when they started investigating, stuff wasn't adding up. And then now they're like, hey, we need some additional information. Why? Because now we need to ascertain, one, is there a predator still out on the loose? Is there a predator still on the loose? Now, if that's the case, help us, tell us so we can start mobilizing a force in order to apprehend this person who wronged you. You have other women, children, fathers, mothers who were concerned because they live in the area. They're like, yo, hold on, this woman almost got kidnapped. Okay, well, hold on. Matter of fact, where's the toddler at? Right? So people are talking about this woman, people are worrying about the kid. So everybody's up in arms about trying to get more information. And guess what? She kept her mouth shut. She kept her mouth shut. Her stories start to seem a little funny. Then they go through her cell phone. Then what they find in her cell phone is not adding up with her story of events. Then they correlate the cell phone data with the data on the traffic camera on the highway, and things weren't adding up. Things weren't adding up. So then you know what happened? The chief investigator was like, listen, we need to speak to your daughter. She still doesn't want to talk, right? Carlee refused to speak again to the investigators. She's not talking. And so the chief is like, listen, man, based on what we found, I got to update the public. I have to update the public because this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. Let me tell you before I go into the video, how did I know that this was some bullshit? I'm going to tell you before I even heard all the details, you guys, she was kidnapped. She ran away. They kidnapped her again, and then she got away again. The kidnapper she described as white male, white female. Right? How did I know she was lying? Because she made it back home with her cell phone. Cuckoo. She made it back home with her cell phone. The moment I heard that, I said, oh, yeah, she's full of shit. She's full of shit. You mean they did all of that work, and the one thing that they let you keep was your cell phone? I said, my God, my God. What did she leave at the scene of the crime? She left her vehicle, her wig. She left her wig. For sister leave her wig at the scene, it looked real, okay? That looked like a real kidnapping right there. She left her wig. She left her Apple Watch, but she kept her cell phone. They found her with, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was $700. Someone saying $100. She had a large sum of money in her sock, in a sock. So listen, what's the dangers of this? Honestly, I see nothing positive behind this. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I see nothing positive behind her lie. Millennial said 100. It was 100. All right, $107. I'm gonna tell you the significance of this $107 though. Once we go through it, um, you know, what is the beauty of this situation? I think it's a stark reminder to men, women, and children that it is not safe out here. She may have made all this up, but the reality is, even if there was no real attacker, no real predator, it doesn't mean that predators don't exist. If anything, the blessing behind this is she's reminding us that these things can happen. She's absolutely reminding us that these things can happen. I think this is a great thing that happened, to be honest with you. Now, do I think she should go to jail? Absolutely. Absolutely. Should she be locked up? Yes. Now, again, again, this was a beautiful thing that took place. I think we have too many women and children who walk around with their eyes wide shut, and they become an easy target, an easy victim for trafficking. They do. They do. I always like to look at what could we learn from this? Let it be a reminder that these things are possible as we hold her accountable, and whoever else participated in this foolishness that she orchestrated. Hold them all accountable. So, is this going to interfere with this idea that black women aren't protected, or the idea that if a black woman goes missing, we're not going to take it serious? No, I don't think so. I don't. Um, I've worked plenty of cases. Dre will tell you the same. Dre's in the chat. He'll tell you the same thing. We worked plenty of cases, investigated plenty of crimes where women have lied on men, lied on other women. They've embellished stories, and they've exaggerated events. And then when you finally put all the pieces together, you come back around, and then they hit you with a, well, I just was kind of not in a good mood. Okay, man. Well, fortunately, I need you to put your hands behind your back because I'm taking you to jail. I've had women lie to me about cases of sexual assault from step parents, from men, from strangers. Women lie, you guys. They absolutely they lie, and they are good at it. They're good at it. And the lengths that some women will go to keep up a lie, it'll blow your mind away. But even as investigators, you have to treat every situation as if it's the truth, because you can't afford to be wrong. You can't afford not to take it seriously. I've worked cases where people said it was a home invasion. And when you get in there, you find that nothing was touched, nothing was taken. Later on, find out that it was actually a drug dealer who got his drugs stolen. People lie, you guys. They lie to the police all the time in order to make themselves look like a victim. So I think one of the and again, this the part. When you make a false report of a crime, when you waste police resources and time, whether it's prank calls, swatting people's home. If those people don't know what swatting is a thing that people do where they'll call 911 and they'll act like there's like an active gun or an active kidnapping or someone committing some type of a home invasion. And they're like, hey, my neighbor next door, I just saw these guys going with guns, they're beating them up, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, that level of crime is going to bring a large police presence, oftentimes a SWAT team, right? Hey, someone's being held at gunpoint, looks like a hostage situation. They're going to bring the SWAT team. It's called swatting, right? This is something people do. They make pranks about it. You guys, I've been working when we had citizens make calls like that, and guess what? We track their phone, we find them, and we lock them up. The last two cases I had like that, we tracked the phone, found out where they were, and we locked them up. Had cases of someone making a prank call in school about an active shooter in a school. Guess what we did, you guys? We tracked their phone, found out where they were, and we locked them up. It never makes the news. It never makes the news. You guys, we take these things seriously. And you'll be surprised what we could do with a cell phone. I've tracked cell phones in a matter of seconds. Seconds. So for her to think that she was going to be able to pull this off successfully and think that there wasn't a way for us to verify, she's an imbecile. She's an absolute imbecile. The camera alone over the highway is enough to discredit what she said, right? And I'm going to play a video. I have the full clip of her on the interstate. And the shocking thing about this is she wasn't the only one in the car. So my thing is, who else do I need to take to jail? You facilitated, you participated, you're an idiot too. I'm locking you up. The car pulls over on the interstate, someone gets out the passenger side. Well, then who's driving the car? So, again, this is not a game. This is absolutely not a game. I'm reading the comments on some of these videos, and people are like, oh, I can't believe I was praying for this girl, praying for her safety, doing this, doing that. People are mad, you guys. People are mad. Rightfully so. I'd be pissed too. Absolutely. So this is a reminder yet again that one, people are full of shit. Two, people have no shame in this country. How do you fix this problem? Punishment. Punishment. That's how you fix it. Let people know that these things are not going to be tolerated. Unfortunately, sometimes when it comes to women, there's this idea that if you punish women for lying, then the honest women aren't going to come up and report the crime. I don't care. I don't care. Listen, if you have a real crime to report, you need to report it. If you lie, you need to get held accountable, whether it's sexual assault or anything else. Don't have me in charge, especially when it comes to sexual assault. You have men who are being freed from prison behind a woman that lied. No, ma'am. Whatever time that he got, you need to get. Oh, he got 10 years? You need to do 10.5, right? Add an additional for pain and suffering. I'm sorry. I cannot do it, you guys. Let me tell you a story, and I don't know I'm rambling before I get into this video about the press conference. I had a woman on my job, at my job. She wasn't working on my job. I was working a domestic. And she was assaulted by her boyfriend at a daycare. She was holding their kid. They got into a disagreement. He assaulted her while she was holding the baby, right? Now, I show up, he's gone. I start investigating. I call him, I'm getting his side of the story. He's like, nah, she did this, she did that, and I pushed her off. I never hit her. I said, okay, all right, cool. Well, finished my investigation. I try to get the video camera footage, the surveillance footage over the school, the daycare where the kid was at. All right. I get the video a couple days later. I want to see the video before I made any type of charges, made any type of decisions. The girlfriend said she was assaulted while holding the baby. He said that that didn't happen. Okay, well, guess what? I'm not going to take her word for it. There was no physical evidence that she was injured. I finally get the video. I look at the video. Guess what? She was telling the truth. A couple days later, I go out, take out a warrant for his arrest. I call him, explain to him he needs to come over here and come get these bracelets. Right? He gave me a hard time. I went to his job and picked him up. What I get him for? Simple battery, cruelty to children. Why? He struck his girl, punched her, right? Twice, actually, while she's holding the child. Cruelty to children, battery, out of here. Went to his job, hooked him up. He bonds out, right? About 2 weeks later, I get a call from Internal Affairs. Hey, Officer Daly, you got a moment? Yeah, what's up? Hey, I need you to come to the office and give us a statement. Yeah, about what? About what? Oh, well, this gentleman wants to file a complaint saying that you were having relations with his baby mama. Right? So I said, nah, that didn't happen. That's a lie. Couldn't find out, obviously, this was a form of retaliation. He wrote a whole statement. Lied. Of course, then they go and interview his child's mother. She's like, no, he called me twice and it was to update the report, send me the warrant, the court information, and blah, 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 blah. That's he's been very respectful and so on and so on and very professional. I don't know why so-and-so would say that. Mind you, I'm on the verge. These type of allegations can get you suspended and get you fired. In my department, they'd fire you over something like that. So I'm pissed. So I'm like, yo, he just lied on me. I said, what y'all gonna do about it? Well, he came in. We don't want to discourage people from coming in and filing, reports. So we're not gonna prosecute. It's like, what? I said, nah. So I went to the judge that same night and spoke to the judge. I said, hey, judge, this is what happened. Here's the actual statement that he put together. And then here's the statement, him recanting what he's saying he made up. He was in his feelings. The judge was like, oh, false report of a crime, falsifying a statement. Oh, thank you, Your Honor. And guess what? Made a phone call. Hey, man, I need you to come get these bracelets again. I had somebody go pick them up. Right. I didn't want to be conflict of interest. Right. If I showed up, so yeah, I could have did it myself. But as you can imagine, right, I already got someone lying on me. No, I had my boys go pick them up. So again, you guys, this is the world we live in, where we think it's okay to give somebody a pass. No, when you're wrong, you make an example out of them. Hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. So I don't want to hear it. That's why the Jussie Smollett thing, he should have got about a good 3-4 years behind that. I'm a little harsh. Anyways, let me get into the press conference. Before I dive into that, let me get into the super chats. Shout out to my boy, Chef. Chef, what up? What up? Chef, new channel member. You guys go and check out Chef Shapino. He's also a content creator on YouTube. Brother, I appreciate you. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. And again, thank you for the super chat. Yo, me and Chef gonna be in Vegas, Chef. So I owe you, man. I'm treating you with a steak, brother. Steak and a drink. So shout out to you again. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see who we got. Who we got? Shout out to Dusty Pookie. He says, watch this man proceed to crap on all black people for what this woman did. I knew he wouldn't pass up this opportunity, and he'll say the cops did good. Brother, I don't know what you're talking about. But I appreciate the donation. Am I gonna crap on black women? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think the reality of it is this has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with behavior. And this type of behavior needs to be addressed. And you know what? But you know what? I'm glad you brought up race. Someone always bring up race, so I'm always prepared to dive into my white bag. Right? I got something in the white bag for you because there is a lady who did the same thing. Since we bring up race, let's talk about it. A white woman who faked her kidnapping to get back at her ex. She is serving 18 months in prison for this. You guys, this is similar, and I was going to bring it up later, but since someone brought up race, Dusty Pookie brought it up. You know, it's always the dusty ones in the chat that got to bring up race. The reality is, listen, I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, or Hispanic. If you lie and you make up a story about being kidnapped and all whatever, you need to be held accountable. I don't care what your skin color is. This has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with behavior. She faked her kidnapping. Who is this person? If you guys want to look her up, Sherry Papini leaves the federal courthouse Monday after Judge William Shub sentenced her to 18 months in federal prison for faking her own kidnapping in 2016. Das Vidania. Peace. So for those who want to make it about race, we always have a color justice warrior in these chats on my streams. It never fails. Shout out to the big homie, Great Pill. Brother had me go in my white bag just now. Shout out to you, brother. Welcome to the channel as a member. You know, I appreciate your support. Shout out to you. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club of free thinkers, critical thinkers over here. I appreciate you. You guys, please go and check out the Great Pill podcast. Also, a great content creator over here. I had a chance to have some good conversations with him. I think we're overdue for a couple. But definitely a good brother, good content, Great Pill podcast. I appreciate you, brother. Again, Chef running it back. Yeah. Chef says the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Man, listen, there's nothing but truth to that. Nothing but truth to that. I think, you know, we live in a world where things now is like people want to walk around with this false sense of security. But if we actually, and I talked about this last night, you know, things haven't got safer. They've just appeared to be safer, right? Our food hasn't got better. It appeared to getting better, but it's not, right? So the appearance is deceptive, but the reality is the threat is still here. You guys, it's still very active. They change clothes, but the predators are still out here, man. They're absolutely still out here. And that's kind of, again, when I look at this particular situation, I'm always looking at it from what can we learn from this, right? Punish who we need to punish, but the reality is there's a lot of truth to this. A lot of truth. You know, Lord works in mysterious ways. This needs to just be a reminder, you know, just a reminder. Shout out to Millennial Mark. Yeah, shout out to you, brother. He says stuff like this costs the city so much money, overtime, and other resources to make a search happen. That's so true, man. You guys have no idea. That's why the defund the police ideology is such a joke. That excessive money is needed for this. That's true. You guys, listen, you had people working overtime. You had them tapping into the federal resources. You had volunteers who were coming out. I remember working cases. For example, we had a serial uh, rapist, right? You guys know what that is. We had a serial rapist. I'll never forget this. I want to say he hit over 15 women in the span of like 3 months, and he was not discriminating. He was hitting all ages. We're talking as young, I want to say like 15, and as old as like 50. I remember he had elderly, or I want to say elderly, a more older woman who was in her 50s that he absolutely sexually assaulted as well. Um, we, so I was a part of a task force. Um, they actually called us out, had us undercover, in plain clothes, hiding in plain sight, working undercover vehicles. On We had officers on bikes, we had officers on foot within the general area where he was striking, you guys, and we caught him. But you got to think, in that situation, we wanted him caught so bad. A lot of officers were volunteering time. That's how bad we wanted him gone. That's how bad we wanted to apprehend him. You know, for those who know someone who has been sexually assaulted and you hear their story, you guys, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. And it does something in you, especially as someone who's a servant of the people. You're like, no, I want to get this scumbag off the street, off the street, man. I have no remorse for them, and again, and you guys heard it on my channel. I believe my philosophy is castration. Castration. So it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But when you have officers who want to, and investigators who are passionate and want justice, you guys, the amount of money don't even matter. Hell, we already don't get paid enough to begin with to do the job, right? So Millennial Mark's absolutely correct. It is a lot of money, a big investment into these type of investigations. Shout out to Marion B. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So you guys, let's dive into the video, the press conference. Because I get all passionate and be up here all day.
We're Alabama, 1, 2, 3. My
fair use. Fair use.
All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaleba, that's spelled Keithsescaleba, with the Hoover Police Department. Joining me at the podium today will be Hoover Mayor Frank Brocato, spelled Brocato, and Hoover Police Chief Nick Derzis, spelled Derzis. You may also hear from Lieutenant Dave Derzis.
Let me fast forward.
It is that this story has generated. Focus has been to determine Carlee's whereabouts during that time and what exactly.
She showed up looking like the Pink Panther, looking like Colonel Sanders mixed with the Pink Panther. This brother is not playing, okay? This guy, he's going to give us a breakdown of the investigation and really kind of touch on how they investigated and what major clues led to them knowing that this was a hoax, all right? So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's see what you got to say.
Took place. Let me say up front, this investigation is not over. We're still working this case, and we'll be working this case until we uncover every piece of evidence that helps us account for the 49 hours that Carlee Russell was missing.
All right. AKA, we're in the process of, once we get this 49 hours that are missing, we're going to charge her criminally. That's what that is code for. That's code for. We know she's full of shit. Now we're going to criminally charge her once we get all the pieces of the puzzle together. That's what that means. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what that means. They're gonna charge her, you guys. But let's go.
However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. so I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carlee left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows Carlee concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Tzatziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459. Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Interstate 459, and there's just a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Humber Med, like you get off by the Humber Med.
Okay, so you're before that exit?
Yes.
Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Like towards Tuscaloosa or toward 280?
Towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay, and was the child on the left or right side?
On the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound, or how old did they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye?
All right. So let me pause it here and recap real quick so this all makes sense. She calls 911, 9:30. She says she sees a toddler, right? She describes a toddler. He's in diapers, white t-shirt, white child. She says she pulled over and she's following the child, right? This is the issue right here. Number one, she's following the child. This is what she's saying. All right. Now let me continue. Then I'm gonna show you. Matter of fact, no, let me show you this. She's following the child. This is her on the video. They tell her to put her hazard lights on. She's telling them that she's following the child, right? As you see, this is the highway camera. She's off to the side, onto the shoulder, and the emergency lane, and she has her emergency lights on, right? So mind you, she's doing this while having the conversation with 911, saying that she's following the child, right? That she has an eye on the child. All right. So remember that. I'm gonna pause that there. I'm gonna go back to the actual the conference, and then I'm gonna show you the video, this video of the person coming out, the driver and the passenger side.
Until we get there?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz.
Is it a sedan or SUV?
SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry.
Can you put your hazards on for me?
Yeah, they're on.
All right. So you hear now the dispatcher says, "Can you put your hazards on now?" So from the video I just showed you, she's then now putting on her hazards, you guys. But then when you're watching the video again, when you see her hazards on, guess what? Where's the child? Where's the child? So now you're just driving. Where's the child? Oh yeah, I'm watching the kid right now. I'm following him. White kid. He looks like a toddler. He's wearing a white shirt and diapers on. Yeah, he's just out here walking around by himself. You guys, look, this is what they have. Right? So
did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, like Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
Right now? Okay. So is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see any cars anywhere?
No, no cars anywhere.
Okay. All right. What's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell.
And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct?
No, but I can't really see them that good.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best that you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right. And do they have shoes on?
No.
No shoes.
Not that I can see. I can't really see that. Look.
Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but the officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Carlee called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame.
All right, let me pause it there. She calls the police around 9:30. Approximately 6 minutes later, they get a phone call. The police get a phone call saying that she's been kidnapped, right? That she heard a tussle. They heard a tussle on the phone while talking to her, and we believe she's in danger, right? And then the police show up. Okay, so that's what he's saying. The time frame along those lines. All right.
Carlee's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing, and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child walking down the interstate. Data from Carlee's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight. 600 yards. The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from Carlee's mother stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard Carlee scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located Carlee's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for Tzatziki's was also in the car. The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they located anywhere around the scene.
All right, let me pull this back up. This is the video of, again, this is the video of her traveling, and again, that's her vehicle here with the emergency lights flashing. Hopefully you guys can see it, but it might be a little difficult. I probably should have screenshot it. Looks like I'm gonna have to hold on. Let me re-upload it again. 1 second. That way we can kind of get a better look at it. So this is her video. This is the video of the flashing light. Why is it playing so slow? Oh my God. All right. You're probably not going to be able to see it. But it's going to be hard to see, you guys, but you see a person get out the passenger side of the car, basically. And you would have to kind of look at the video on your own. For whatever reason it's playing, it's freezing up and won't really play properly. But you could see someone get out of the passenger side of the vehicle. Okay, so this is not going to be, my bad, y'all. But if you look at it carefully online, you can see someone get outside the passenger side of the vehicle. Anyways, let me go back to the press conference.
Hoover police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for Carlee. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounding local and federal agencies assisted Hoover Police in the search for Carlee Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of Carlee, the child that she claimed to see, and anything else that could be considered evidence in this case. Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by her family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 center receives a call from Carlee's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence.
So now what they're saying is all of a sudden, cuckoo, right? She reappears out of thin air and they catch her on a Ring camera walking down the street, going to her house, right? Like nothing ever happened. All right. So this is what he's talking about. So he painted the picture like we did all this investigation, we're doing all this, and all of a sudden, boom, here we go. Right? She's back. And now everybody has questions.
She was conscious and speaking with paramedics.
Now the video want to freeze on me. Why are they doing me like this? Come on, StreamYard, be on that. All right, now I have to re-upload this. In 1 second, you guys. Technical difficulties. Put the video back on.
Can everybody give me a thumb?
You don't see any angry
Online. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. She stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. Detectives, the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded, but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists.
So here's the thing. So according to the traffic video that they have, they're saying it doesn't add up, right? They say her story does not add up with what they have surveillance video on. Not only that, she just happened to get the most benevolent kidnappers in the world. Ma'am, listen, we would tie you up, but we don't want to leave any bruises on you. Right? They fed her. They gave her a massage. They played in her hair. You guys, she got kidnapped by Mary Poppins. That's what happened. Let her tell it. Let her tell the story. You know, and so again, not only did they allow her to escape twice. So he's given you what she's telling you. This is her statement.
She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview, detectives noted that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock.
It sounds like she got paid for her services. It sounds like she got paid for her services. But the plot, the plot thickens, you guys. And listen, if you haven't checked the survey, take the poll, did a poll on there. Do you think she should be charged criminally for this? And then I'll give the results towards the end of this, but let's keep going.
Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what...
Well, correction. I thought she had her cell phone. They're saying, no, her cell phone was still at the scene. Okay. My bad on that one, you guys. I thought she still had her cell phone, but I'm going to tell you why I thought that based on the information I heard. This is the first time I'm going through the full press conference. But okay, let's go ahead with it.
Data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to their disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched.
All right. What they're saying is they did a search warrant on her cell phone. And you guys, in cases like this is not uncommon. This is what we do, right? And technically, listen, I tell you guys all the time, whatever you put in that phone, whatever you search, even if you delete it, it doesn't matter. I can get access to it, right? Plenty of criminals have searched, how do I move a dead body? How do I clean blood? How do I properly kill somebody? How do I dispose of a body? You guys, listen, people actually Google search these things. And then when we're doing an investigation, these things come up. These things come up. So what he's saying is they're looking at her browsing history. And in her browsing history, she's like, does it cost to have an Amber Alert? Why are you concerned about an Amber Alert just 2 days before your kidnapping? Then it goes to, how do I take money out the cash register, right? Okay, where'd you get this $107 from? So again, these things, it's on top of all the other foolishness, it's making her look suspicious. Well, it's confirming that she's full of shit, right? But it gets worse, you guys, it gets worse.
On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th.
Listen, you guys, this woman was prepared to act out her entire kidnapping. She had bus routes. She had how she was going to survive. She had snacks. She had Cheez-Its that she bought. She orchestrated this entire... This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So she embarrassed about, she did research on Amber Alerts, right? She wants to know how that stuff works. She did research on how to take money out of a register. She did research on bus routes, one-way tickets. She was going to try and disappear. She's going to try to disappear. So again, they're pulling all this up, and she's looking at dates on the same day that she went missing. Well, listen, she had assistance, right? There was someone else in the car with her. So again, all actors involved need to be held accountable, period. Period.
On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time.
Bullshit. Listen, if this was a man, they would have put all his business out. Listen, I don't know what it is, why we coddle women so much. If you buy the ticket, you get the whole ride and nothing but the ride. So help me, the justice system. The reality is she's wrong. Put her business out. Put it out. You done wasted all of this national media attention. You done wasted all these taxpayer dollars. I want to know what's on the damn phone. I want to know what type of issues she thinks she was going through that she felt the need to drag the entire country behind her bullshit. I'm sorry. I want to know. I know if it was a man, guess what? All of our, he was looking up how to get away with murder. This goes into his mind state. This is what he was researching. They're putting all of our business out. I don't understand why we feel the need to coddle women, even when they're absolutely 100% wrong. Wrong. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. It's like this idea we still want to preserve this sense of innocence that she doesn't have. She's wrong. Playing into her mind state. Let's talk about her mind state, because there's a lot of things that were going on. People saying, oh, she might be suffering from mental health. Listen, we all have our mental health days and then we're over it, right? She's a grown woman. She's 25 years old. I want to know what you're already sharing some of the messages. You might as well share it all. Share it all. I don't care about what she was feeling at the moment or what she was going through that she felt the need to imagine and create this entire facade about her being kidnapped. I don't care. I want her to be held accountable. I want the justice system to get about the justicing, right? That's what I want. So, what is this, right? There are allegations, or I would say the statements. All right, before I get into that, let me just keep going.
We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
All right. So what is he saying? She lied. Respectfully, she lied, and she wasted our time. And based on our investigation, there is no threat to the public. But I beg to differ. Like I said earlier, ladies, fellas, children, there's always a threat for your safety. Don't get it twisted. Just because she lied doesn't mean there's no truth to her lie, meaning that there are predators amongst us that prey on women and children and young men, right? So that's a fact. All right. So let's not get that piece twisted. Now, this woman here needs to be held accountable. I don't care about her personal problems in her life. What she did was unacceptable. Now, here we look at what a lot of these statements and things that were going on online that people were exposing, people who were close to the situation. People were saying this is over some boyfriend breakup, right? This has something to do with her relationship. This has something to do with, she had some issues with her job, So again, yeah, she might be going through some personal problems. I respectfully understand. Ma'am, I need you to put these cuffs on. We can talk about it on the way to the jail. I'll listen. I'm a good listener. I always listen on the way to the jail. Oh, but my boyfriend, and my job, and I understand, man. I need you. Can I get your hand, please? Thank you. Turn around. Can I get the other? Thank you. All right. Let's talk to me about it. Listen, you guys, I'm that guy. I'm going to listen. And as we listen on the way to the jail, I'm going to pray for you. But I'm still going to hold you accountable. I don't care. So again, Someone said double lock. Somebody know how it works. I'm a double lock and I'm gonna secure them cuffs. Put 2 fingers in, make sure you got a good say. Listen, you're going to jail. And I can get you all the help on the way. I got you. We got counselors, we got therapists. I'll make sure you got it good. But we're going to jail. Absolutely locking you all the way up. All the way up. So, boyfriend breakup. There were some allegations that over the weekend, that time that she was missing the 49 hours, that she was at some Red Roof Inn. What else? The issue about her failing nursing school. So she was stressed. Hell, I'm stressed right now. Right? We all get stressed out. Right? We all get stressed out. Hell, your boy Jesse Smollett was stressed, right? He's like, oh, I want people to really know that being gay is a struggle out here. All right, well, guess what, brother? I wish you the best. Put these handcuffs on. I don't care about your personal feelings. Now you've involved the entire nation on your escapade of stupidity. And we all are sitting here like, you're ruining this for other women, other kids who are actually being kidnapped probably as we speak. As we speak, people are plotting on trying to snatch somebody up. And we wasted 4 days effing with you and your stress. You guys, this is life, right? This is life. So, what else was it? There was something else. This never fails. For all those listening, those who work in health field, right? In healthcare, nurses, doctors, some CNs, right? For all of you guys who are so ignorant, who are willing to risk your job, your freedom, right? And put yourself at risk for a lawsuit. This is not the first time, right? This happened even with Kevin Samuels passing. God rest his soul. When Carlee was in the hospital after she was found, when you have high profile patients, even celebrity patients, you guys, they put them in they put their information, they secure it, right? They lock it down to where you just can't get access to it. Why? Because they want to protect their privacy even more than the every average day patient, which it shouldn't matter, right? Every patient's privacy needs to be on lock and key, right? This is HIPAA. Well, what happened in this case, like a lot of other cases where celebrity information about their medical, this happened with Jamie Foxx, right? This happened in this case. This happened with Kevin Samuels, where you had nurses and medical professionals who try to sneak in and get access to their patient records to find out why they are in the hospital in order to sell that information, to leak that information out. You guys, there were multiple medical professionals who were fired from their job for violating her privacy. So again, to those in these professions, you guys, please use common sense, right? Please use common sense. Everything is not meant for you to take and share on the internet or share on social media. There were information I came across, people in the health field who were like, hey, I looked into her records and I found out that she was lying, that this, and the other, and that there were no drugs on her system. So they're over here releasing this information. Now, granted, we can't verify whether or not they actually work. The reality is that there have been people who got fired behind this case. All right, just like others. So, there's always that fool, that nurse who's willing to risk her nursing license to violate somebody's privacy rights for the sake of the internet. For the sake of the internet, so I wanted to make sure I actually touched on that because that has happened before, and it's something that we see on the regular. So he's gonna take some questions. Trying to think. Yeah, let's hear some of the questions that he takes from the media.
With that, we'll open the floor for some questions. Please raise your hand and I will call on you. Carol.
Chief, do you expect any charges against Carlee Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse spa?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
One more question. Is it surprising to you that the family has not been cooperative in returning to be questioned?
Well, I think the family has stated to us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female? Black female? White female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yeah, white male.
Is this alleged abductor yet on loose in the Hoover area?
Don't believe so.
Chief Brittany Dion, WBRC. Has a toxicology report been done, and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that.
Is any indication of mental illness in this case?
So he's like, no, we got no report of no drugs in the system, no report of mental illness. Even if there was mental illness, there's a jail that's prepared to receive her. You know, you're not going to weasel out of this. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're not going to weasel out of it. And then she needs to be fined for all the wasted taxpayer dollars that went into this investigation. And let it be an echoing reminder for those who want to make false claims of crimes or false reports of crimes against other people. Hold them accountable. Hold women accountable. Hold men accountable. Again, I do not care. You caught whatever listen, don't put me in charge. Don't put me in charge. I'm going to charge you accordingly to what the criminal would have got.
There's been a concern in the community that if this turned out not to be a true story, that the next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
There you go.
Was she traveling with anyone? Excuse me. Was she traveling with anyone since the time she disappeared, to your knowledge?
And not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you weren't able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went, and how would you characterize what happened to her?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
Well, one quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with Carlee's parents, and why do you think it is they were so adamant that there was an abductor?
Yeah, I think parents are believing what their daughter's saying, and we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have.
You can tell he's pissed off.
How much time do you think you'll give the family before going back to Carlee for sentencing?
Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready. We're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, you know, she called right now. We're ready.
You had one word to describe what went on. What would that be?
How about unknown? You know, we know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
In the back.
What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search, hasn't it?
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get Carlee home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local state story, but a national story. So, you know, it is. It's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
As you stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that Carlee's home. That was the main ingredient here, and then we'll figure it out. I promise you that we'll end up figuring it out.
Look, listen. He said, "Are you frustrated?" I'm not frustrated, but we're gonna figure something out. AKA, once we get it all together, we locking her ass up. All right. Cuckoo, Carlee, you're going to jail, boo. Right? You're going to jail. And that's the reality, because guess what? She's safe. So one would argue, then why does it matter, right? Why do we're calling it off? No, they're still investigating, even though they know she lied. Why, you guys? Because they're going to put the whole story out. They're going to embarrass her. They're going to embarrass her, and they're going to hold her accountable, and whoever else was a part of this charade. They're going to do it. I already know it. I can feel it. Listen, the brother put on the pink suit for the conference. He means business. All right. He means business. I'm telling you right now, the brother you show up with a pink suit at a conference, someone's going to jail. I'm sorry. Someone getting locked up. Someone is getting locked up. He's pissed. And not only he, but those who work this case. Listen, I've had to chase people in the woods, off the interstate. Those are the worst. Kudzu, those are the worst things to chase people through. When I catch you, I'm mad. I'm absolutely mad, you guys. It's been hot these last couple of days. Listen, it's been hitting 100 in Alabama, and they've been out in the woods, walking through, looking for evidence. And the grass and weeds about as high as your body. And you're going through here because this black girl said that she got kidnapped by an orange-haired white guy. Sounds like Bozo the Clown. Listen, you're going to jail, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm absolutely sorry. You pissed me off. He's pissed. They're all pissed, and I'm all for it. Lock her up. I'm sorry. Operation Jail.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might cost the city and the state and the federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's again, these detectives that are here, this is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Was there any prior indication of mental health problems?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for her? Can you just expand on that?
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you got to follow up on them because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed in this case?
We have not determined that now.
Keith Mims, WAGG.
He said, based on your information, has a crime been committed? He said, no, we haven't determined that. You guys, there's been a crime, a false report of a crime. Oh, that's a crime, all right. That's a crime.
10 Summit Media. Question for Chief. With all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on Carlee's phone, does that kind of give you an indication of her mind state during this ordeal, the 48 hours that she went missing? Well,
again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that somebody gets kidnapped, that 7 hours, 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very, very strange, yes.
Yes. Do you feel confident, do your investigators feel confident that you know why Carlee Russell may have done this?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned that.
For those who didn't hear that question, she asked, do we know the motive of why she did this? No, because she refused to have a conversation with the investigator. So after they took her initial statement, obviously they let her rest and recover. She has not had another conversation. She's not answering any questions to the investigators anymore. She's not participating. I won't say she's not cooperating anymore, you guys. And so I guess, the plan didn't work out according to how she had it. And she's rethinking her great escape.
While I believe you said that Carlee was on the phone with 911, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have, and it's very, very, again, she said it, And I'm not saying it couldn't happen because I've always been one of these guys, never say never. But
say
6
never.
football fields. I like athletics. I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance the video from 459? And did you see a man grab her?
We did not see, from what we can tell. We don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side. We have sent that.
All right. That's the part I want you guys to hear. And unfortunately, when I try to play the video from the highway, I don't know, it kept freezing. But when you look at the video, you guys, I urge you to go online and look at the original video from the highway footage. You could see her get out of the passenger side. And then now he is saying that someone gets out of the driver's side. So again, she faked her kidnapping. She was with another person. I want to know who that person was, because guess what? I'm more than likely, I need to interview them. And based on what they say, I need you to come over here and get these bracelets. Right? Because for these days I'm searching for, and you were present with her, I need to know what happened. I need to know what happened. So, again, we don't know if she was a passenger. He's saying passenger. Regardless, there were 2 people in the car when she made the 911 call, and then she got roughed up and whatever. So let me say this though, and that's pretty much the end of it. Let me say this, kind of close with a couple things. Could this be a domestic violence situation? Absolutely. So let's not let me say this. Women lie. Women lie and they embellish things. This is true. Right? When it comes to these type of situations. But what's also true is that women lie to protect the person that's the suspect, i.e., could be a boyfriend. I've seen and worked plenty of cases where a woman will lie and blame someone else for a crime that their lover committed against them, right? So this could very much well be a domestic. And she got into a domestic with somebody that was in the car, right? And maybe she was on the phone, and maybe there was a real tussle, right? And then she left, right? Got into a fight with them. Maybe she did lose her wig, right? During the scuffle between the two, right? Outside of the vehicle. This could very much well be true. But what does she do? She then lies about it, makes up this fictitious story about a white man and a white woman kidnapping her, right? And then therefore this whole thing comes around. Is that possible? Yes. Is it possible in this case? I don't know. But I'm just telling you that the reality is that these things do happen. And so again, when the investigator is saying there's still 49 hours that we need to examine, I don't blame him, because there's a reality that something did take place. Is it what she's reporting? Probably not. Or maybe there's some version of the story that is true. I've seen cases where women have volunteered and put themselves in a position of prostitution. And when they did not like the outcome, they then told a lie about what happened and how they got there, right? So I've seen plenty of cases like that. I've seen women and young girls run away from home, link up with a friend who pimps them out, and then they tell a story that's not accurate. You guys, what I've noticed from investigating these type of crimes, sex crimes, women will tell lies in order to make themselves look like they're innocent. That is the problem. And when you've had enough experience interviewing women, they do not like to look bad. They don't like to look bad. They don't like to be judged, and they don't like to be shamed. And women will create an entire world of fantasy just to avoid being held accountable for their choice, for their decision. This is not to justify women being attacked or women being victims of a crime. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about women who put themselves in situations and then they then regret it, right? They have sexual, right? They have this sexual, what would you call it? Remorse. And then they will then create a false narrative in order to make themselves look like a victim and then order to then avoid accountability. It happens all the time, you guys, all the time. So again, in this situation, when I'm listening to it, you know, there's a man that's present. She faked her kidnapping. There's a good chance it was probably a domestic. And in order to try to protect him, she creates this false story, this damn fairy tale, and dug herself in a hole. Dug herself in a hole. You guys, one thing I'll tell you about women, their word has power. Their word has power. Women lie on men all the time and get away with it. Women lie on men all the time and get away with it. Women make false statements all the time and they get away with it. We just witnessed this in the news recently with that NFL, was it a basketball player or NFL player, that guy? That woman lied and told her friends, her brother to come shoot him up. This man doing prison time behind her lie. So listen, there are more men in the grave and behind bars behind a lie that a woman told. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've investigated it. And even knowing that, I have to treat every victim, every female victim that calls 911, I treat it the same way. But the moment I catch you in a lie, I'm locking you all the way up. And I don't feel bad about it. I tell brothers this all the time. Oh, she's lying on me. I catch you in a lie, you're going to jail. And a lot of times, even with these domestics, the men don't even want to lock the chick up. Nah, man, she good. Sir, she punched you. Nah, man, it's all good, bro. I ain't gonna worry about it. A lot of violence against men go underreported. Underreported. But when the roles reverse, not only are stories by women a lot of times embellished and overhyped, listen, they do not hesitate. Tyrone hit me so hard, ma'am. The camera doesn't show that. I know women who hurt themselves. There's nothing more powerful than a woman's voice. I'm telling you that right now. And so, ladies, let me give you some tips on what you can do. Obviously, it goes without saying, do not put yourself in uncompromising situations. Pulling over late at night to look at a kid, address somebody who's hurt, or you see something, don't do it. Call 911, keep your distance, report from a distance, right? Do not get out your vehicle, all right, to address it. That goes without saying. This is the most common things at night. A couple things you need to be mindful of. Your keys need to be out. Do not be on your phone. I can't tell you how many women that I stop while working and say, hey, listen, ma'am, on your way between to and from, do not be in your phone. All right. People watch. You have guys who watch. They sit in cars and they watch to see who's not paying attention. Your phone does not need to be in your hand. Do not sit in your car and twiddle around on your phone on social media while you're just sitting in the car. Don't do that. All right. Don't do it. When you're in the car needs to be cranked. The doors need to be locked. You need to be on your way. All right. Don't ever feel so comfortable that you can just relax. You just can't. All right. I'm sorry. You just can't. A lot of women have been robbed and taken that way. Not paying attention is one of the biggest things that get women caught up out here. And so another thing, be mindful, right? Be mindful of your surroundings all the time. I know we say it. Anytime you're going from a public area to a non-public area, your head needs to be on a swivel. You need to constantly be paying attention. You need to be off your phone. It goes without saying, off your phone. When you're driving home, you need to know multiple routes to your house. Never take the same way home more than once, especially when you're coming from a place of nighttime, whether it's at the club or hanging out. If you got your outfit on and all that, always make sure you're paying attention to the headlights of cars that are behind you. Never take the same way home, ever. Always pay attention. I'm telling you this because, again, these are type of crimes that I actually investigated. These are crimes that I've heard from other investigators, right? These are legitimate. These are legitimate solutions. Be mindful, be vigilant. Know how to identify cars by their headlights, by their tail lights. Always. If you feel like something wrong, then something's probably wrong, right? So if you feel like you're being followed, always stay in the right lane, right? So that you're not stopping at a light and you don't have anywhere to turn. At least when you're in the right lane, you can always turn right, right? Even regardless if the light is red, you can always make a right turn. These are little things, little tricks of the trade to keep yourself safe, right? Always keep a weapon on you. I always tell women that you need to learn how to utilize a firearm, learn how to protect yourself. Some women don't like guns. That's fine. Bless your heart. Keep a knife, right? Keep a knife. Stab him once, stab him twice, right? That's the motto. All right. And then also see people say pepper spray. Pepper spray pisses people off, but it doesn't hurt to have it. Rather have something than have nothing at all. Okay. So always make sure you protect yourself and have these things on you at all times. Share your location with people that you trust. That's always a big one, right? That's always a big one. When you are grocery shopping, this is a big one. When you're grocery shopping, don't do it late at night, for obvious reasons. We don't have to get into that. I had the case I was telling you, where the guy was raping over a dozen women. This is something that I learned, and I share this with my family. When you're bringing groceries home and you're by yourself, this is how this particular victim was assaulted inside her home. He followed her after she had finished picking up groceries. As she was taking groceries from her car, she left the door open, right? She's taking her groceries and she's walking in the door. Guess what you do? She left the door unlocked. Why? Because she knows she was going back out to get her groceries. Ladies, when you're bringing groceries into your home, always lock the door behind you. Always lock the door behind you. Always make sure you have lights on. Make sure you don't have large bushes in front of your windows for those who have homes, but for those in apartments or any type of dwelling, always lock the door behind you, right? In that case with the guy who was sexual assaulting these women, what he did was, when she was bringing her groceries in, he actually followed behind her through the door. Why? 99% of you guys leave your door unlocked while you're bringing groceries in. You're not paying attention, right? So again, how do I know this? When I interviewed her at the hospital. Okay. So I have to hear these stories. I hear how women put themselves in situations unbeknownst to them, unintentionally. We all do it. This is why I share this information, not because it's your fault. It's not your fault for being a victim. What I'm saying is there are ways to protect yourself better than we do day to day, right? So this is not victim blaming. This is, how do you protect yourself better? All right. So those are the things. And lastly, let me say this. I spoke about this before. There's these things that people are doing now. I tell you, people are sinister out here. There are people who will rob you. What they'll do is they will act like they hit the back of your car while you're driving. And we've all been in a situation, majority of us have been rear-ended. And what do? You've been rear-ended. What do? You pull over. Well, in Atlanta, there's a robbing crew that was going on for a while where they would accidentally they would purposely bump into the back of your car. And then what do? You get out because you want to exchange information. And then when you get out, a gun is drawn and you're asked to get on the ground. All right. So we've had several cases like that. So just be mindful that even in something that seems innocent could turn out to be something that could be extremely tragic. Be vigilant, be mindful, never let your guard down. Though this situation here could possibly be a strong hoax, the reality is the danger is ever so prevalent in this world. Don't ever think that predators don't exist. Don't ever think that you yourself cannot be a victim of someone's wicked intentions. So again, it is on you. No one is responsible for protecting you. And remind you that the police show up after the fact, right? Policing is reactive. Though we're here to do the best we can, we are reactive, right? It's not Minority Report. We can't tell crimes before they happen. So, your first line of defense is yourself. Is yourself. And lastly, you can't protect people who don't listen. When someone's giving you advice, take it. All right. Any questions before we head out from the stream? Any questions? The poll turned out very interesting. 112 votes. 94% said yes, she should be charged criminally. 6% said no. So great poll. Thank you guys so much for participating in the poll. I always like to get your thoughts on these type of situations. Anybody have any questions? We like to do the Q&A a lot of times at the end of these streams. If you have any questions, any law enforcement questions, any questions in reference to safety, anything that you can do, put a Q in front of your question. I'll pull it up on the screen. I'll answer it to get your thoughts. I want to give as much feedback as possible. This is a real situation. These things do happen, you guys, and not to take away from the reality of this, but just to give you some real data while you guys are kind of going through it. If you want to ask questions, I'll give you some time to put some questions up. And let me just show you. Let me just show you some of this data real quick. Just as you guys are thinking, if you guys have any questions before we close out, put a Q in front of your question so I can pull it up on the screen if you have any. But let me just share some of this data with you just to show you how real this problem is. This is some data in reference to human trafficking. All right. And according to the Department of Defense, and they've managed to keep obviously good statistics on this. This is from 2023. $99 billion is estimated to have made annually through sex trafficking. You guys, it's not a game. All right. I can tell you the stuff I've seen on the dark web. I can tell you things that I've just the bare surface level stuff that I had access to. I didn't have access to the good stuff, but just the bare basics that I had access to, you guys. This is not a game. We're talking about organ harvesting, and of course, sex trafficking. That's a $99 billion annual business. It's not going to stop. And you're not going to stop it. All you can do is protect yourself from it, the best of your abilities. Protect your children, the best of your abilities. You're not stopping $1 billion industry. You're just not. We can't even stop the $1 billion food and pharmacy, drug and pharmacy industry here that's killing us in this country that we know about. You want to end an illegal criminal enterprise that people are making millions of dollars and billions of dollars? No, you're not stopping it, you guys. You're just not. 4.5 million people throughout the world are victims of forced sexual exploitation. 51 billion per year is accumulated through forced labor, i.e. slavery. 21 million victims worldwide are believed to be victims of forced labor. 20% of human trafficking victims are children. 1 in 6 endangered runaways reported in the United States are likely to be victims of sex trafficking. So 1 in 6. 1 in 6. 1 in 6. So, you guys, this stuff is real. As you know it. I mean, I'm not, obviously this is nothing new as far as, but I just want you to hear the numbers as it relates to the United States. California has the highest number of people trafficked in California. This website is wisevoter.com. They have a human trafficking statistics based by state. As you can see, the ones in the red are the highest. You have Texas and Florida are the highest trafficked states. Here it gives you a breakdown again by the top states. And some people who are trafficked are recovered. I remember doing a stream on this before, but regardless, man, the numbers are high. The numbers are high, and it's scary. It's scary. So, you guys just stay vigilant again, and be mindful that this is a real problem. It's not a game. So let me get to the questions. Let me go up, make sure I don't miss any. Shout out to William Mark. He says, do you think a person who will be potentially charged with a crime, if the chief comes out and a magenta blazer, should you almost be certain you're going to jail? Listen, if an investigator come out with some pastel colors, you're done. Not only that, it's you could tell how talented an investigator is based on how they dress. And that brother is sharp. He's sharp. Again, he out here looking like the Pink Panther. You're out of here, you guys. He means business. That brother, I mean, look at him.
That off to the...
I mean, sharp, tie, shirt. Oh, he was not playing. You'd have thought this was his first press conference. Question from Rhonda. Why are they taking so long to arrest her? Well, there's no rush because two things. One, she was just recovered, right? Two, there's 49 hours missing. And kind of like I was explaining earlier, just because she may have lied about how this happened doesn't mean a crime did not happen. So they need to make sure they have all the facts together before they make any type of sudden movements. They need to have at least 90% of the puzzle put together. And I think respectfully, they're giving her space to say, listen, we gave you time to relax and calm down, but you need to speak to us, though. We need to know. We have some additional questions because 1 + 2 is not adding up right now. And so I think they're doing the right thing. I think they have intentions of pressing charges, though. They absolutely, I can feel it. I can feel it just from the press conference. Great question. Let's see. Someone said, orange hair, orange man. Gotta be Trump. Trump out here grabbing them by the... I don't know. Is it Trump? Let me see. Those are all the questions. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's it, you guys. Great stream tonight. We're at the 2-hour mark. I'm trying to keep it to 2 hours. I'm trying to keep it. Listen, check under the video. Get the merch, you guys. Check out the merch if you didn't see the cuckoo chew face. This some bullshit face. Cuckoo chew. All right. So at the end of the day, check out the merch, you guys. Support. Thank you again for everyone who supported tonight. I really appreciate it. There is if charges are made, we'll probably I'll do a follow-up video and just kind of go from there. And that's it. So listen, I hope you guys found this to be invaluable and informative. Ladies, those who have kids, fellas, you have kids, teach them, educate them, explain them how to maneuver right through this world. It's dangerous out here. Be careful, be wise, make solid decisions, be very careful. As we see, anything could happen at the end of the day. So yeah, so those who are watching this are going to be catching the replay. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Curious to know what you think. And other than that, you guys, please stay safe, stay prayed up, and be mindful of your surroundings. And remember, men lie, women lie a lot, but the numbers don't lie. And with that, you guys, let these truths find you where the lies have left you. Good night, and God bless.